Hi, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to do the wrap up for our third week of middle grade March, and boy do we have some books to talk about. So let's get started. It was a crazy week.
It was a crazy week. Like, we didn't have any time to read.
We did lots of spring cleaning.
Oh my word, Saturday.
Well, it wasn't just Saturday though. Like throughout the week with babysitting and stuff, like the whole week we've been trying to rearrange rooms, and all of our reading time has just kind of gone cray-cray. You talk about one. Oh, okay. You only have one.
Yeah. So the one that I actually read was A Night Divided, and oh my word, did I love this book. This is about a girl whose father goes to the west side of Berlin to do something, and he takes her brother Dominic, and while they are gone, the German and Stasis are like German, but they're way worse than German.
It was when the communists came in. It's the Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
This is about the Berlin Wall that went up after World War II to separate East Germany from West Germany.
So while her father and brother are out in the west, the east built a Berlin Wall, and then when her father sees that it's up, he can't enter into the east side, and then he makes up this, it's like a song, but he starts digging, which is part of the song, and she was really confused, and then she realized that her father wanted her to dig, or so she thought. So
that's all we're going to say because we don't want to have spoilers.
I just want to say everything about it.
But it was really good.
Yes.
I read it last year. I don't think I read it for middle grade March. Y'all, we've had too much sugar this weekend. Way too much sugar. We all woke up and our throats are just irritated beyond belief. So, tea for her. I should be drinking tea, but I was also up really late. Like, really early.
Late and early?
Late into the wee hours of the morning. Oh, I need to... anyway, so we're going to be clearing our throats a lot, and...
I need another cup of tea after this, because this
I did drink a detox tea last night, because I'm like, nope. I could already feel it. Okay, so that was yours.
Too much sugar, our throats start going
Our
crazy.
throats go crazy, my hands swell, and...
This is why we don't drink or eat sugar as much as some people do.
Okay, so... I'm going to talk middle grade March first, and then the first one I finished this week is actually one that I had started last week. Absolutely, truly, I did talk about this last week because I was listening to the audiobook that Hoopla had, and I absolutely loved this. I wasn't sure because as the story opens up, you have your main character, Truly, who is, they're moving from their beloved Texas to this place in Massachusetts, I believe. I just know it's New Hampshire. Okay. It's up there, the eastern states that all kind of blend together. But they're going to move to New Hampshire, like cold, not Texas. Definitely not at all. Big Texas, little New Hampshire. And you kind of, there's this fine line that she walks of being disrespectful. And there's a lot of books that have those elements in it, but this was different, and I don't know how to describe it accurately, but it had just that dancing line where she does it, but then her military dad is on it, and he just knocks it off, and he's like, so this is not how we behave, this is disrespectful, but he goes about it in a military way rather than as a parental, this is not appropriate. And I think that's where I kind of, on both sides, was a little frustrated. But what happened is her dad in Iraq or Afghanistan, in that war as a military officer, basically was caught in a bomb that killed his best friend and took his arm. And so this is a large family. So this has a family of 5 kids. So large family. They have 5 kids, and they're called the Magnificent Seven, which honestly, when I heard that, I'm like, that is so our family.
Yeah.
I can so see your dad doing that, calling us the Magnificent Seven. I just feel like, oh, there we go. Look at that.
So much better. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's much better. We have to like set the camera back to get in.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so you have those opening elements, and he goes into PTSD, and this whole family is just basically uprooted to New Hampshire to save this bookstore. But there is a mystery element. She finds this letter in an old copy of Charlotte's Web. And so there's this mystery element and clues and chasing these clues to try to find where the next clue is for this letter and how long ago it was and just who wrote these letters. And it's definitely a kid level mystery because honestly for me I'm like there is so many issues with this mystery. But on a kid level definitely more fun. I'm just like the person that left this letter I think would have done things a little differently because of the outcome. So that was probably why I knocked this down to a 4-star read, but I really did love just the family dynamics in here. I really enjoyed how they basically take this dilapidated, is that the word? This bookstore that's closing up and is barely making it, and how the dad works with the aunt and they banter back and forth like siblings do, and they're adults, and so the kids kind of not necessarily feed on that, but there is this element of understanding. And then there's the mom that is just trying to like hold everybody together, still love her husband even though he is not the man she married to begin with. There's just a whole lot of family elements in the story. Lots of fun, lots of trying to adjust to a new school, a new personalities within this town. So there is a second book, and I can't wait to read that. And so I really liked this one.
The second one is yours truly.
Yes, but I don't own it. But it is on Hoopla.
Absolutely truly. I'm going to read that in December because it has like a winter element on it.
Yeah, it's
for
good.
One of
It's good. It's good. I like. Can anybody watching this name that movie? I actually couldn't remember. I thought it was Mushu that said it.
Yeah, it sounds
Mulan,
like something.
but it's not. And my mom, when she was here last, reminded me where it was from. A movie I have not seen all the way through, mind you. I just remember that. You know, after last week, and we were kind of just like meh week, I had a really good week.
She had a good week. I did not.
She had another meh week, and I was like, I didn't read very much. I actually forgot about that. And then, again, my really big work day, I finally finished an audiobook that I had been listening to since last year. I think I started it June last year. So,
what I read, Dina, was The Things She's Seen. I love this cover. It's so pretty. My aunt read it.
Yeah, your aunt loved it.
She loved it. But me and her have two totally different tastes. She likes more fantasy, unrealistic type things.
And you take after me, where I'm like, this is unrealistic. I don't like it.
And this
could never happen.
Yeah, and honestly, this could never happen either. This started out with her talking to her dad, and she's dead. And there is like this mystery. There was this house or this like school type thing that was burned down. All the kids were safe, but there was this one girl or guy, I can't remember which, that had died in the fire. I think it was actually the professor of that one school. Anyway, it's where like orphan kids go. And so she's trying to help her father with it, and then they meet this other girl, and so it's like the story of this one girl, Beth, the main character, and this other main character named, they call her Catching. Her last name's Catching. And whenever it goes to Catching, it's like in free verse, so it's really hard to understand some things.
So not only that, but also free verse. Again, another thing that I'm just like, I have no idea what's going on here.
Oh. Then Catching's mother dies because of like a car crash in like this one river type thing. And then she
Don't spoil it if somebody wants to read it.
Catching goes to this, like, one place, and she meets these weird creatures. And that's where I started to be like,
I'm done.
Sadly. I really wanted to read this and really wanted to like it. And it's just, like, her telling what happened in, like, the fire. And
so the fire is a mystery that she's trying to help him solve.
Yeah, it's like a mystery that she's trying to help him solve, and he's, like, a detective. And after 51 pages, I was like, I'm done for this book. So, that's going in the get rid of pile.
The next book I read and was so surprised about was Where the Mountain Meets the Moon. After my hesitancy of The Girl That Drank the Moon, which is fantasy, dystopian kind of thing, I was like, okay, this must be the one that I'm not going to like. I mean, it's going to be too coincidental to have two that I really like that are hyped up, both fantasy elements, fantastical elements.
I read this book and I liked it.
And my copy is signed by the author.
Really?
Yep. Even the little bunny.
What? I never noticed that. I got the audiobook version from the library.
Yep.
Wait,
Nope,
can I
You're
see?
lucky.
signed by the author. I think I picked this up at a thrift store, so that's even more fascinating.
Okay. I never knew that.
I think. Yeah, this one kind of goes back and forth. So what Grace Lynn did, okay, first of all, I read The Year of the Dog last year, and I didn't like it. I had some personal issues with it. I'm actually not going to talk too much about it just because they're my thoughts that really aren't relevant to the story. But I didn't like that one very much, according to what everybody else raves about it. But I think Grace Lynn actually has a calling for writing these types of book, fantasy. I would say it's fantasy. Fantasy, like fairy tale retelling. Because what she did was she took a character and weaved all of these Chinese folklore stories around this character. So this character, our main character, Min Li, has, yes, I don't remember names very well at all, but Min Li and her family, her mother and father, are just down on their luck. And for Chinese, that's like really big. Luck is a huge component of Chinese culture. Finally, Min Li decides that she's going to go seek her fortune from the man in the moon, or the man of the moon, or the man moon something. But anyway, she's going to go seek her fortune from him. So she leaves a note for her parents and basically leaves. Now the mom in this is a very nasty woman. She's just unhappy and she complains about everything and just kind of beats her husband down. But it's something that I think the church needs to talk more about, is being that continual drip on your husbands. And so this woman has those aspects of it. And how, you know, we're unwealthy, we just need some luck, we just need some wealth, we just need all these wonderful things. And so Min Li kind of goes to the man on the moon to get their fortune changed. And her dad has told her these folklore stories about the man on the moon, and somebody called the magistrate tiger, or the tiger magistrate, something like that. So you have like the wise old man and then the villain of the story. And so it just goes back and forth between all these Chinese folklore as she continues her journey to the man on the moon and the different people she meets and how that fits into this folklore. And then she ends up with the dragon. He comes to life through this piece of art. Like somebody created this artwork of this dragon, and the dragon came to life from that. And so now he's her companion. And so it was really interesting. I was really fascinated by it. I really enjoyed it. It's, you know, for much as a chunker like this, it reads really easy. The print is large. And a lot of it is like the type of stories. It has some amazing artwork in here. Just so much of this I really, really appreciated. And just how the mother, I mean, honestly, that's the story that I was following the most, or most invested in, was the mother and her transformation of realizing the wealth that she had and how her actions began to affect her daughter, Min Li, and how now she was becoming discontented and wanting more and more, and how just her mother's story, I think, is, the story reminds me a lot of C.S. Lewis, that says a book that's only good for children is not a very good book at all, but those that the adults and the children can truly appreciate are the best type of books, and I would definitely say this is one of those. So I have the second one or third one of these, so I will have to go into that, but I think this is Graceland's calling, these types of books.
Yeah. And then I read... Okay, I DNF'd this one. The Littlest Bigfoot. There was nothing bad about this. It was just really boring, and I didn't think it was my type of book at all. And I don't think this is a well-known book. She's a best-selling author, though.
Jennifer
Weiner. The name sounds familiar for some reason. There's a second book to this, Little Bigfoot, Big City. It was just not my type of book. It was kind of boring, so I didn't really want to finish it. And then Deep Blue. My taste for books like this have changed. So it's not that it was bad, it just my taste for this type of book. And I'm not really a fantasy person anymore, so that's why I decided to DNF this one. And I had the second book. So I'm just going to get rid of both of these. And that is all of the books that I read.
I have 3 more to talk about. Some with the middle grade. And let's see, I think I did this one next, and it's so tabbed. There's so many wonderful book quotes in here that I loved, but this is the Book Wanderers, or Pages & Co., The Book Wanderers. And this tells the story of a young girl that lives with her parents, and then she finds out that she has the ability to actually go through the books into the character stories.
Sounds like Land of Stories.
So, but also too, she found this out because Anne shows up at her side along with Alice from Alice in Wonderland. So 2 personalities that kind of fits our main character. So that, and then the story has her mom disappeared and nobody knows what happened to her. She doesn't know who her father is, and she just lives with her.
Still sounds like Land of Stories.
I don't know. I haven't read Land of Stories. So that's actually an interesting perspective.
The thing is, the kids disappear and the mother's freaking out, and the dad died, and they didn't really know much about him.
I can't tell anything else about that without plot spoiling, but anyway, oh my knee, yep, I'm an old woman now. But yeah, so basically there is this underground library that houses all of these books to make sure that no stories are altered, and that people that go and do these things, they come back and they leave the storyline unaltered, or if they get stuck, they have a way to get back. I really liked it. As I show, I have a ton of tabs here because there is just so much fun quotes in here that I just kind of want to write down. Often characters in books are considerably more consistent than the people around us. All that messy life stuff does rather get in the way. So anyway, there's just so many little quirk things like that I really liked. Really enjoyed this book. I think I gave it 5 stars.
Wow.
There is, yeah, I know for me.
Yeah.
I'm really picky. Let me make sure. See if I did 5 stars. There is an element in here of her dad that I don't really know how I feel about it because of the circumstances, but you can't really talk about it because it could mess up your reading experience. So I'm still kind of playing on that. Like, what do I think? Yep, I gave it 5 stars.
Crazy.
So I really liked it. I would like to read the rest of them. And then last night I read, it's so short, guys. It's like 150 pages. Let's see. 166 pages. Peanut Butter's Friends in a Chop Suey World by Deb Kramer. This was actually my favorite book growing up. My copy has been loved to death. There's nothing left. It's probably disintegrated into 1,000 million pieces. But this tells the story of Amy Carmichael Kramer, who goes to Taiwan with her family. to be missionaries. And her brother, I've always said it Adoniram Judson, but then your dad told me how to pronounce it, and I was like, what? Adoniram. Adoniram. I was like, what? So I've always called it Adoniram, but Adoniram. As in Adonai, God. I just was like, what? Anyway, his name is Adoniram Judson. He calls himself AJ because he hates that name, obviously. And then their little brother, Hudson Taylor. And so they go to Taiwan, and she's just like ambitious to be this perfect missionary daughter. She's going to pass out tracts. She's going to win souls for Jesus. She just has this new adventure spirit about her. And Taiwan is nothing like that. And she's put in this position of trying to choose a new friend in school that is basically kind of running the show. But she's popular. And she kind of fits more with her rather than the person that they shun, which is a Chinese girl. Oh my goodness. Which is a Chinese girl. And so Amy here is just divided on what she should do as a missionary daughter, as a person. She's just mixed feelings. And then you have this aspect of just trying to learn to live in Taiwan. Honestly, as much as I loved it as a kid, I found so much more wisdom here as an adult. Because there is this one scene where Amy is trying to make friends with this, the shunned Chinese character. She's trying to be the friend. She's trying to do the right thing. But is she? So she's there and she's seeing the Buddha statues, and it's Ghost Month and they're kind of celebrating, and she's like, I'm going to share Jesus. And she's like, okay, I want to do this and do this. And the one girl is like, is the only way I can be your friend if I accept Jesus and do all this stuff? Is that what it's going to take? And Amy has to just realize, like, what does it really mean to be a missionary? Is it to shove Jesus down the throat? Is it to learn to serve others and kind of reflect Jesus rather than anything else? And then just her journey into maturing and kind of just building back up the kind of character that she started out being. There is so much of me in Amy Carmichael. So much of this I just reflected on my own childhood and some of the struggles I have, and I think that's why I just love this book so much, is that I related so much to Amy Carmichael, Kramer, the character here. Because I too was just kind of the oddball out of groups. I wanted, to host Bible studies. I wanted to do all this stuff as a young kid, and that's not normal, that's not common, and everybody looks at you weird, and you're just like, but I want to share all this stuff. And so I really related to her, and it still, I think, hit me now as it did then, just why we choose friends and friendship over anything else. So I love this book so much. I wish my daughter would read it. I keep telling her she should read it.
Yeah, I should probably read it.
This kind of books, I love this so much. I want to talk to you about. So the last book that I have to share with you is by Mary Stewart. It's my first Mary Stewart book, and it's My Brother Michael. I got this on Audible, and let me see if I can summarize this well. This is a story that takes place in Greece over the period of 3 days. It is a mystery. It's such a slow moving book that I did not realize it was a mystery until it was almost completed. The book. What happens is this girl ends up, the guy walks in, she's complaining that she never has any adventures. And she wants to see Greece. She wants to see this particular place in Greece that now escapes me. I remembered it last night when I was trying to formulate this review for you. But Delphi. I keep wanting to say Dubai. No, Delphi. A guy comes in with the car keys and he's like, sorry we're late. Here's your car. It has to get to this person, Simon, on time. Don't forget. And she's like, I'm not the girl. I didn't order the car. What are you talking about? And he's like, you got to get it. It's an emergency. Get the car to them. And so she's like, well, I have a car. I wanted to see Delphi. I'm going to go take the car to Simon and try to figure out who this Simon is and why he needs this car. She finds Simon, and he has no idea why this car is sent to him. So then it's this kind of building up story of trying to get the car to the right person, but it's just kind of more of this meandering through Greece and the roads and the settings and all this stuff. And then you find out that our main character Simon had a brother that was killed, and they're trying to figure out why he was killed. And not Camellia. Is it Camellia? I think it's Camellia. Camellia is kind of our main character, female, is kind of just thrown into this, trying to figure out what is going on, how she got involved in this, and now she's invested in it. So now she keeps going. Honestly, the character Camellia, it's told from first person. But the character Camellia, there were so many times when I'm like, are you an idiot? Because she acted like one. She acted just so idiotic. But she's got some great one-liners that were funny. And up until, like, again, like maybe the last section of the book, I did not realize that this was a mystery that we were supposed to find out anything. And then it got intense. Opens up with a lot of quotation from Greek works or Shakespeare. I think Shakespeare is also thrown in here. And they're kind of like preludes to what's going to happen into the chapter. So that was really interesting. The narrator was phenomenal. The way that she was able to give a voice to each character. That was brilliant. But to be honest, this is probably like a 3.5 stars for me, just because so much of it was just there. And I think the premise of the story is just kind of showing a beautiful Greek land and culture and describing it. And that was beautiful. But I felt like I missed a lot of it. Again, it took me from June of last year to now to finally get this finished. So that's a long time, and a lot of it is just because I didn't like the character. She was just an idiot. And I don't know, it worked out for the book, but it was just there. So I'm proud to say that I actually wrapped up more books than I thought. So that's kind of cool. And what are you working on right now?
I'm working on the 5th book of Enola Holmes. I love this one. That one's pretty good. It's about her landlady. She disappears, and there was like this note before she disappears, and it said, "Carrier pigeon, deliver your bird-brained message at once, or you will be sorry you ever left." Scutery. And so this is like what it looks like. Hold on. And the landlady's like, I don't know what this message means. And Enola Holmes, a little later, she finds out that the bird is Florence Nightingale. So, because a nightingale is a type of bird.
Yes, it is.
I love Nightingale. I love Florence Nightingale. So, yep. Currently reading that one. I like that one.
But, yeah, I think I'm really glad that... I'm trying to figure out how it went. I'm just really surprised at how much I loved these books, and just I don't know, really glad I did them. So this one especially, like so many favorite vibes. This is probably like for most people a 3-star read, because it's so short, and it's Christian fiction for kids, but I loved it. I think it's got so much wisdom in there, especially because a lot of Christian fiction, they have this mindset of we're going to go and we're going to evangelize and we're going to have missionary work. And then like all these perfect circumstances come in, and anything that's a hardship, it gets worked out in the end, and everybody comes to Jesus. And that doesn't happen in this book. And I love that. I love that it's not just about winning souls for Christ just to have a number count. I loved that. I liked that. And then you've got a stack of books to take to the bookstore and get credit for.
I like to get some more books.
Let's be a little bit selective in what we choose.
Yes.
So, all right. So we thank you so much for watching today's video with us. And until next time, have another cup of coffee.
Or tea.
And read another chapter. Bye.
Bye. My jaw.